Welcome in, welcome in. I hope everyone is very cozy right now and ready to go to bed. It's EP time, guys. EP time. Okay, so I am monitoring myself today, but one of my earbuds broke one of the sides. So if I'm too loud, let me know. I don't really have a sense of how loud I should be. Okay, so today I've decided we're gonna be reading some fairy tales. Well, I have 2 stories ready, but I'm not sure how long they're each gonna take. So yeah, we'll see. Hello Via, welcome. Hello to me. Hello people clown. Hi Jealous. Hello everyone. Welcome in. Yay, are you perfect to sleep too? Yay. I'm glad. It's time to go to bed, guys. I wonder if I'll fall asleep before you guys on stream. Do you guys think it would happen? I feel like it's actually more likely than you'd think. Hello, Shady Aryan. Welcome. Yeah. Let me know if the audio is weird. I'm doing my best to listen on my own, but I don't want to blow out your guys' ears. I want to make sure you guys are comfy and well rested. And yeah. Okay. Do some head scratches before we start the stories. I have a different material this time. It's more of a silk rather than just a cloth. It's time to go to bed, guys. Oh god. Alright. Okay. So the first story that I have prepared for you guys is The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit. It used to be one of my favorite childhood stories, so I hope you guys will also enjoy it. One day I want to do like a book reading stream, just not ASMR, just like regular. And I want to finish like a book with you guys, but I don't know if you guys would be interested. I think it'd be very cozy and comfy, and like everyone could like bring their own tea or something. I don't know. That's just me thinking into the future. Yeah. Okay. Is everyone tucked in? Is everyone ready? Okay. I have some water with me, so that way I don't lose my voice. Not that I should. I'll be whispering. Oh, I like hiccuped. Oh no. Okay, I think it's just the one. Okay. Alright, are you guys ready? Oh, okay. The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time. Sorry. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an incident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now, run along and don't get into mischief. I am going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. I like blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away into Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuces and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately run into a gooseberry nut and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve. I don't know how to pronounce it. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter. But Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. Ka-choo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp with sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going lippity-lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Poor Peter. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe. Scratch, 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 scratch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes, but presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned to Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go, along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. I am sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made him some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. The end. Yay! Putty, 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 putty. That was the tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Yay! Putty, putty, putty. Did you guys like it? Was it fun? Okay. Next, I have some short nursery rhymes, but we're gonna do some head scratches first. Okay. I hope you guys have had like a good day so far. I feel like mine has been pretty uneventful, to be honest. I didn't go anywhere. Let's see. I woke up. I wish I might have this wish. I wish tonight. That's it. It's really, really short. Okay. Next is Jack be nimble. Jack be nimble. Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. Okay, and then it's Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. See, these are all like super, super short. Okay, the next one is a tisket, a tasket. A tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. I dropped it, I dropped it, and on the way I dropped it. A little boy, he picked it up and put it in his pocket. That, yeah, these are all silly. Okay, next is Baba Black Sheep. That's just a song. Wait, I should sing it. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. Singing is hard when you're whispering. Do my best. How do I do, guys? Am I relaxing? I don't know if I am. Okay, next is Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Next is London Bridge. Okay, this is also a song. Let's see if I can sing it. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Yay, putty, putty, putty. Next is Ring Around the Rosie. I can also sing this one. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Did you guys know that this was referring to I think smallpox? They would so a ring around the rosy is there would be like a rash that would show up if you had it. I think it was around your neck or your wrist, I don't remember. And then that's a ring around the rosy, and then a pocket full of posies is, I think they would put posies to, it was either for medical reasons or like pseudo medical reasons, I forget. And then ashes was referring to like the bodies, and then we all fall down with everyone dying. That was a little morbid, but that's the history. Listening while doing project anxiety going down. I'm glad. I really am. I drink some water, guys. Can you guys hear me gulping? I'm so sorry. I take really big gulps. Okay, next is, I've never heard of this one. It's called A Wise Old Owl. A wise old owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. Sorry, doing ASMR is like really silly sometimes, and it just hits me in waves of like silliness. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to be serious. I am serious. Okay. Alright. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Yay! Maybe not yay. Butty. Okay. So next is the Velveteen Rabbit, but it's really long. Hello, Jealous. Welcome. You missed the first story, but you're just in time for the second story. But as I was saying, this story is a little longer than Peter Rabbit. This is the Velveteen Rabbit, so I'm not sure if we'll finish it. Like, it's probably like 5 or 6 times longer. So I'm not sure how far we'll get, but I will do my best to finish it for you guys. Okay. Are you guys ready? Are you guys comfy? Should we do some more head scratches before we do the story? Let's do that. Is there like an ASMR like roleplay or a voice drama, maybe not necessarily ASMR, that you guys would like to hear me do? Because like I do voice act, so I want to release like a little voice pack for you guys to listen to. So let me know. If not, then I'll just, I don't know, choose on my own. I'm too giggly for this. Something super cute would be nice. What do you think is super cute though? I'm trying to think. Maybe something for White Day. That's like in March 14th. Do you guys want like a little like White Day voice? Like maybe not a voice pack, maybe like a voice drama. 'Cause I want to do something like that. Sounds like fun. Maybe something a little short though, like 5 minutes. I don't know what I would do for White Day though. Sounds good. Thank you for your input, guys. Oh, okay. Well, I'll do my best to do a little bit of both. Okay. Alright, The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. There was once a velveteen rabbit, and in the beginning he was really splendid. He was fat and bunchy, as a rabbit should be. His coat was spotted brown and white. He had real thread whiskers, and his ears were lined with pink satin. On Christmas morning, when he sat wedged in the top of the boy's stocking, with a sprig of holly between his paws, the effect was charming. There were other things in the stockings, nuts and oranges, and a toy engine, and chocolate almonds, and a clockwork mouse. But the rabbit was quite the best of all. For at least 2 hours, the boy loved him. And then the aunts and uncles came to dinner, and there was a great rustling of tissue paper and unwrapping of parcels, and in the excitement of looking at all the new presents, the Velveteen Rabbit was forgotten. For a long time he lived in the toy cupboard or on the nursery floor, and no one thought very much about him. He was naturally shy, and being only made of velveteen, some of the more expensive toys quite snubbed him. The mechanical toys were very superior and looked down upon everyone else. They were full of modern ideas and pretended that they were real. The model boat, who had lived through 2 seasons and lost most of his paint, caught the tone from them and never missed an opportunity of referring to his rigging in technical terms. The rabbit could not claim to be a model of anything, for he didn't know that real rabbits existed. He thought they were all stuffed with sawdust like himself, and he understood that sawdust was quite out of date and should never be mentioned in modern circles. Even Timothy, the jointed wooden lion, who was made by the disabled soldiers and should have had broader views, put on airs and pretended he was connected with the government. Poor rabbit. Between them all, the poor little rabbit was made to feel himself very insignificant and commonplace. The only person who was kind to him at all was the Skin Horse. The Skin Horse had lived longer in the nursery than any of the others. He was so old that his brown coat was bald in patches and showed the seams underneath, and most of the hairs in his tail had been pulled out to string bead necklaces. He was wise, for he had seen a long succession of mechanical toys arrive to boast and swagger, and by break their mainsprings and pass away. And he knew that they were only toys and would never turn into anything else. For nursery magic is strange and wonderful, and only those playthings that are old and wise and experienced, like the Skin Horse, understand all about it. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day, when they were lying side by side near the nursery fender before Nana came to tidy the room. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you and a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't how you are made," said the Skin Horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the Skin Horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. you become, and it takes a long time. That's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints, and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. I suppose you are real, said the rabbit, and he wished he had not said it, for he thought the skin horse might be sensitive. But the skin horse only smiled. The boy's uncle made me real, he said. That was a great many years ago. But once you are real, you can't become unreal again. It lasts for always. The rabbit sighed. He thought it would be a long time before this magic called real happened to him. He longed to become real, to know what it felt like, and yet the idea of growing shabby and losing his eyes and whiskers was rather sad. He wished that he could become it without these uncomfortable things happening to him. There was a person called Nana who ruled the nursery. Sometimes she took no notice of the playthings lying about, and sometimes, for no reason whatsoever, she went swooping about like a great wind and hustled them away into cupboards. She called this tidying up, and all the playthings hated it, especially the tin ones. The rabbit didn't mind so much, for wherever he was thrown, he came down soft. One evening, when the boy was going to bed, he couldn't find the china dog that he always slept with. Nana was in a hurry, and it was too much trouble to hunt for china dogs at bedtime, so she simply looked about her, and seeing that the toy cupboard stood open, she made a swoop. Here, she said, take your old bunny. He'll do to sleep with you. And she dragged out the rabbit out by one ear and put him into the boy's arms. That night, and for many nights after, the Velveteen Rabbit slept in the boy's bed. At first, he found it rather uncomfortable, for the boy hugged him very tight, and sometimes he rolled over on him, and sometimes he pushed him so far under the pillows that Rabbit could scarcely breathe. And he missed, too, those long, moonlit hours in the nursery when all the house was silent and his talks with the skin horse. But very soon he grew to like it, for the boy used to talk to him and made nice tunnels for him under the bedclothes that he said were like burrows where the real rabbits lived. And they had splendid games together in whispers when Nana had gone away to her supper and left the nightlight burning on the mantelpiece. And when the boy dropped off to sleep, the rabbit would snuggle down close under his little warm chin and dream, with the boy's hands clasped close round him all night long. And so time went on, and the little rabbit was very happy. So happy that he never noticed how his beautiful velveteen fur was getting shabbier and shabbier, his tail coming unsewn, and all the pink rubbed off his nose where the boy had kissed him. Spring came, and they had long days in the garden, for wherever the boy went, the rabbit went too. He had rides in the wheelbarrow and picnics on the grass, and lovely fairy huts built for him under the raspberry canes behind the flower border. And once, when the boy was called away suddenly to go out to tea, Rabbit was left out on the lawn until long after dusk, and Nana had to come and look for him with a candle, because Boy couldn't go to sleep unless he was there. He was wet through with the dew, and quite earthy from diving into the burrows that Boy had made for him in the flower bed. And Nana grumbled as she rubbed him off with a corner of her apron. "You must have your old bunny," she said. Fancy all that fuss for a toy. The boy sat up in bed and stretched out his hands. "Give me my bunny," he said. "You mustn't say that. He isn't a toy. He's real." When the little rabbit heard that, he was happy, for he knew that what the skin horse had said was true at last. The nursery magic had happened to him, and he was a toy no longer. He was real. The boy himself had said it so. That night he was almost too happy to sleep, and so much love stirred in his little sawdust heart that it almost burst. And into his boot-button eyes that had long ago lost their polish, there came a look of wisdom and beauty, so much that even Nana noticed it the next morning, when she picked him up and said, "I declare if that old bunny hasn't got quite a knowing expression." That was a wonderful summer. Near the house where they lived there was a wood, and in the long June evenings the boy liked to go there after tea to play. He took the Velveteen Rabbit with him, and before he wandered off to pick flowers or play at brigands amongst the trees, he always made the rabbit a little nest somewhere among the bracken, for he would be quite cozy, for he was quite a kind-hearted little boy, and he liked Bunny to be comfortable. One evening, while the rabbit was lying there alone, watching the ants that ran to and fro between his velvet paws in the grass, he saw two strange beings creep out of the tall bracken near him. They were rabbits like himself, but quite furry and brand new. They must have been very well made, for their seams didn't show, and they changed their shape in a queer way when they moved. One minute they were long and thin, and the next minute fat and bunchy, instead of always staying the same like he did. Their feet patted softly on the ground, and they crept quite close to him, touching their noses, while the rabbit stared hard to see which side the clockwork stuck out, for he knew that people who jump generally have something to wind them up, but he couldn't see it. They were evidently a new kind of rabbit altogether. They stared at him, and the little rabbit stared back, and all the time their noses twitched. "Why don't you get up and play with us?" one of them asked. "I don't feel like it," said the rabbit, for he didn't want to explain that he had no clockwork. "Ho," said the furry rabbit, "it's as easy as anything," and he gave a big hop sideways and stood on his hind legs. "I don't believe you can," he said. "I can," said the little rabbit. "I can jump higher than anything." He meant when the boy threw him, but of course he didn't want to say so. "Can you hop on your hind legs?" asked the furry rabbit. That was a dreadful question, for the Velveteen Rabbit had no hind legs at all. The back of him was made all in one piece, like a pin cushion. He sat still in the bracken and hoped the other rabbits wouldn't notice. "I don't want to," he said again. But the wild rabbits have very sharp eyes, and this one stretched out his neck and looked. "He hasn't got any hind legs," he called out. "Fancy a rabbit without any hind legs," and he began to laugh. "I have," cried the little rabbit. "I have got hind legs. I'm sitting on them." "Then stretch them out and show me, like this," said the wild rabbit. And he began to whirl round and dance till the little rabbit got quite dizzy. "I don't like dancing," he said. "I'd rather sit still." But all the while he was longing to dance, for a funny new tickly feeling ran through him, and he felt he would give anything in the world to be able to jump about like those rabbits did. The strange rabbit stopped dancing and came quite close. He came so close this time that his long whiskers brushed the Velveteen Rabbit's ear, and then he wrinkled his nose suddenly and flattened his ears and jumped backwards. "He doesn't smell right," he exclaimed. "He isn't a rabbit at all. He isn't real." "I am real," said the little rabbit. "I am real. The boy said so." And he nearly began to cry. Just then there was a sound of footsteps, and the boy ran past near them. And with a stamp of feet and a flash of white tails, the two strange rabbits disappeared. "Come back and play with me," called the little rabbit. "Oh, do come back. I know I am real." But there was no answer. Only the little ants ran to and fro, and the bracken swayed gently where the two strangers had passed. The Velveteen Rabbit was all alone. "Oh dear," he thought. "Why did they run away like that? Why couldn't they stop and talk to me?" For a long time he lay very still, watching the bracken and hoping that they would come back. But they never returned, and presently the sun sank lower and the little white moths fluttered out, and the boy came and carried him home. Weeks passed, and the little rabbit grew very old and shabby, but the boy loved him just as much. He loved him so hard that he left all his whiskers off, and the pink lining to his ears turned gray, and his brown spots faded. He even began to lose his shape, and he scarcely looked like a rabbit anymore, except to the boy. To him, he was always beautiful, and that was all that the little rabbit cared about. He didn't mind how he looked to other people, because the nursery magic had made him real. And when you are real, shabbiness doesn't matter. And then one day, the boy was ill. His face grew very flushed, and he talked in his sleep, and his little body was so hot that it burned the rabbit when he held him close. Strange people came and went in the nursery, and a light burned all night. And through it all, the little Velveteen Rabbit lay there, hidden from sight under the bedclothes, and he never stirred, for he was afraid that if they found him, someone might take him away, and he knew that the boy needed him. It was a long, weary time, for the boy was too ill to play, and the little rabbit found it rather dull with nothing else to do all day long. But he snuggled down patiently and looked forward to the time that the boy should be well again, and they would go out in the garden amongst the flowers and the butterflies and play splendid games in the raspberry thicket like they used to. All sorts of delightful things he planned, and while the boy lay half asleep, he crept up close to the pillow and whispered them in his ear. And presently the fever turned, and the boy got better. He was able to sit up in bed and look at picture books while the rabbit cuddled close at his side. And one day they let him get up and dress. It was a bright, sunny morning, and windows stood wide open. They had carried Boy out onto the balcony wrapped in a shawl, and the little rabbit lay tangled among the bedclothes, thinking. The boy was going to the seaside tomorrow. Everything was arranged, and now it only remained to carry out the doctor's orders. They talked about it all, while the little rabbit lay under his bedclothes, with just his head peeping out, and listened. The room was to be disinfected, and all the books and toys that the boy had played with in bed must be burnt. "Hurrah!" thought the little rabbit. "Tomorrow we shall go to the seaside." For the boy had often talked of the seaside, and he wanted very much to see the big waves coming in, and the tiny crabs and the sand castles. Just then Nana caught sight of him. "What about his old bunny?" she asked. "That?" said the doctor. "Why, it's a mass of scarlet fever germs. Burn it at once. Get him a new one. He mustn't have that any more." And so the little rabbit was put into a sack with the old picture books and a lot of rubbish, and carried out to the end of the garden behind the fowl house. That was a fine place to make a bonfire, only the gardener was too busy just then to attend it. He had potatoes to dig and the green peas to gather, but next morning he promised to come quite early and burn the whole lot. That night the boy slept in a different room, and he had a new bunny to sleep with. It was a splendid bunny, all white plush with real glass eyes, but the boy was too excited to care very much about it, for tomorrow he was going to the seaside, and that in itself was such a wonderful thing that he could think of and nothing else. And while the boy was asleep dreaming of the seaside, the little rabbit lay among the old picture books in the corner behind the fowl house, and he felt very lonely. The sack had been left untied, and so by wriggling a bit he was able to get his head through the opening and look out. He was shivering a little, for he had always been used to sleeping in a proper bed, and by this time his coat had worn so thin and threadbare from hugging that it was no longer any protection to him. Nearby he could see the thicket of raspberry cranes growing tall and close like a tropical jungle. In his shadow he had played with the boy on bygone mornings. He thought of those long sunlit hours in the garden, how happy they were, and the great sadness came over him. He seemed to see them all pass before him, each more beautiful than the other. The fairy huts in the flower bed, the quiet evenings in the wood when he lay in the bracken and the little ants ran over his paws, the wonderful day when he first knew he was real. He thought of the skin horse, so wise and gentle, and all that he had told him, of what use it was to be loved and lose one's beauty and become real if it all ended like this. And a tear, a real tear, trickled down his little shabby velvet nose and fell to the ground. And then a strange thing happened. From where the tear had fallen, a flower grew out of the ground, a mysterious flower, not at all like any that grew in the garden. It had slender green leaves the color of emeralds, and in the center of the leaves a blossom like a golden cup. It was so beautiful that the little rabbit forgot to cry and just lay there watching it. And presently the blossom opened, and out of it stepped a fairy. She was quite the loveliest fairy in the whole world. Her dress was of pearl and dewdrops, and there were flowers round her neck and in her hair, and her face was like the most perfect flower of all. And she came close to the little rabbit and gathered him up in her arms and kissed him on his velvety nose that was damp from crying. "Little rabbit," she said, "don't you know who I am?" The rabbit looked up at her, and it seemed to him that he had seen her face before, but he couldn't think where. "I am the nursery magic fairy," she said. "I take care of all the playthings that children have loved when they are old and worn out and the children don't need them anymore. Then I come and take them away with me and turn them into real." "Wasn't I real before?" asked the little rabbit. "You were real to the boys," the fairy said, "because he loved you. Now you shall be real to everyone." And she held the little rabbit close in her arms and flew with him into the woods. It was light now, for the moon had risen. All the forest was beautiful, and the fronds of the bracken shone like frosted silver. In the open glade between the tree trunks the wild rabbits danced with their shadows on velvet grass. But when they saw the fairy, they all stopped dancing and stood around her in a ring to stare at her. "I've brought you a new playfellow," the fairy said. "You must be very kind to him and teach him all he needs to know in Rabbitland, for he is going to live with you forever and ever." She kissed the little rabbit again and put him down on the grass. "Run and play, little rabbit," she said. But the little rabbit sat quite still for a moment and never moved, for when he saw all the wild rabbits dancing around him, he suddenly remembered about his hind legs and he didn't want them to see that he was made in all one piece. He did not know that when the fairy kissed him that last time, she had changed him altogether. And he might have sat there a long time, too shy to move, if just then something hadn't tickled his nose, and before he thought what he was doing, he lifted his hind toe to scratch it. And he found that he actually had hind legs. Instead of dingy velveteen, he had brown fur, soft and shiny. His ears twitched by themselves, and his whiskers were so long that they brushed the grass. He gave one leap, and the joy of using those hind legs was so great that he went springing about the turf on them, jumping sideways and whirling round as the others did. And he grew so excited that when at last he did stop to look for the fairy, she had gone. He was a real rabbit at last, at home with the other rabbits. Autumn passed, and winter, and in the spring, when the days grew warm and sunny, the boy went out to play in the woods behind the house. And while he was playing, 2 rabbits crept out from the bracken and peeped at him. One of them was brown all over, but the other had strange markings under his fur, as though long ago he had been spotted, and the spots still showed through. And about his little soft nose and round black eyes there was something familiar, so the boy thought to himself. Why, he looks just like my old bunny that was lost when I had scarlet fever. But he never really knew that it was his own bunny, come back to look at the child who had first helped him be real. At the end. This story makes me really sad. Yeah, Betty. This story actually made me cry. I didn't expect it. It's been a really long time since I read it. Oh my goodness. It's so sweet. It makes me really emotional. Well, I think we're gonna end on that note, but sorry guys, I didn't think I was gonna cry after reading a kid's story. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing, but also crying a little bit. If you guys heard my start crying when he thought he was gonna go to the beach with the boy, because oh, it made me feel really sad. Wow, it's written so beautifully too. I love good writing. Thank you guys for listening. Okay, I'm a big girl. I'm brave. I'm brave. Thank you for listening, guys. Wow. I knew I really liked this story, but I forgot how good it was. I feel real emotion. Okay. Before I leave, are there any requests for me to say anything or do anything? Sorry, I don't really know how to end stream right now. I'm not. Oh my god, the emotional damage. That took oh, I thought I ended this poll. I thought I did. Sorry. Wow, I didn't realize it was still going. You love sweet. It's very sweet. It's one of my favorite. I just forgot it was like that. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm gonna play Pop Tropica after all. I think we're gonna do, I'll figure it out. If I don't think of anything, I'll just play Pop Tropica. And then, on Sunday is the silly little singing stream, so I hope you guys will come. I will see you guys then. Wow, I'm gonna go like cry. I feel like the story is also like a lot of it. I feel like I am the Velveteen Rabbit, and I wow, I didn't think I would be like that after reading. Sorry. Take care. I thank you. I'm okay. I swear I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm a big girl. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Okay. I hope everyone is sleeping now. It's EP time. Thank you for listening to the story time. I'll see you guys soon, okay? Okay. Mwah. Mwah. Bye bye, guys. Mwah. Choo. There's like a thing. It's like not moi cute. It's like the chew one. I forget what it's called. Oh, choo. Choo. Bye, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm so sorry if the ending screen music is really loud. That was probably a jump scare. I'm so sorry. Bye everyone.